Ben-Gad, Professor of Economics at City University, London. Michael, welcome to the programme. There are 38,000 that have come so far this year, but in the last couple of months, it's been a majority of those that have come from Albania. They can't possibly have any justifiable right to asylum status, can they?
Okay, well, thank you for having me on. I agree with you. In the past, you've had a big flow of Iranians, Syrians, people coming from Afghanistan, and many of them probably do have credible reasons for seeking political asylum. Even in those cases, it's often a mixture of motivations that cause people to want to come here. In the case of Albania, I mean, I would not describe Albania as a despotic hellhole. I think the Albanians who live here in London would be rather surprised by that kind of an argument. They're clearly economic migrants. Now, having said that, I don't wish to vilify them. A lot of them are probably coming here for economic opportunity. In fact, in some way, I admire them. I admire their gumption because Albania is a poor country and they want a better life in the United Kingdom. The question of whether the United Kingdom has an obligation to take them, that's a different story.
Yes, but just 1 second. You know, what we see every day on TikTok and elsewhere are Albanian gangs inviting young men to join criminality in the United Kingdom. We can't admire that, can we?
No, of course not. But as I said, I mean, there's a larger question. There are two really larger questions. Let's assume hypothetically that we're talking about asylum seekers, genuine asylum seekers who cross the English Channel. Even in that case, it's absolutely forbidden to send, according to international law, to send them back to their home countries. But it is not necessarily the case that the UK has to offer asylum. It is possible to send them to a third country or to send them back to France. France is perfectly safe. When you have economic migrants, I'm talking about people who are not criminals. Again, the UK is under no obligation to offer them a home. There is a legal migration route. These people, in some sense, are jumping the queue if all they are is economic migrants. In the case of Albanians, I cannot speak to how many of them or if any of them are really criminals. I have no way of knowing that.
I think it's pretty clear.
But I would venture to say that they are at very least economic migrants rather than people fleeing political persecution. And as a result, by any standard, they have absolutely no automatic right to live in the United Kingdom.
I think the point you're making is that we are under no legal obligation to accept people that come across the Channel from France, and yet we seem to be doing so. When Australia faced this problem, 10 years ago, they literally towed the boats back to Indonesia and the boats stopped coming. It's difficult to see the British government having that resolve, isn't it?
Well, I mean, there was an effort to send people to Rwanda. I would say that even in the case of asylum seekers, it is possible, bona fide asylum seekers, it is possible to send them to a third country. It was apparently very badly done, and Rwanda may not be the right choice. Again, I think you should bring on a legal expert, I'm not a legal expert, to sort of answer these questions about whether what is the obligation of the UK government? Because I can tell you, when you look at the debates in the legal literature, it's all over the place. A lot of this is based on legislation or agreements that were made in 1951. And none of those people anticipated a situation where people, I'm talking again about legitimate asylum seekers, would transit from one safe country to another in search of where they'd like to stay. Now, again, I don't fault them for that. If I were in their shoes, if I had to uproot myself and seek a new life, I'd go to the place where I thought I had the most economic opportunity. That's what they're here for. They're not here for welfare. They're here because they want to work, right? But again, it's not necessarily in Britain's interest to welcome everybody who chooses to come here.
Well, I've got to say,